Job 20315, Emerson Mailbox Kiosk redesign. This is RFC number 1, revision number 3. The customer asked that we put this bid together as if we were creating a new bid. Reason for that is because this design changed since getting the contract. This design on this concrete pad changed, and I've done like probably 2 or 3 different revisions, and it's just been a pain in the butt. So the customer asked that in this RFC that we basically are treating as like a new bid, we need to do a couple different things. Number one, we need to put the costs that were incurred from day one when we went out to remove the existing concrete pad. So we got to put those costs into this proposal. Number two, there was a couple trench drains that Mark Machinsky had to order. They were special trench drains. They are not installing those. Instead, they're doing some PVC pipe. So we have to charge them for the purchasing of those 2 trench drains. So we need to include those costs. Number 3, instead of doing the trench drains, there's new PVC drain pipe from the downspouts to the parking lot, and that's 18 feet long. So as you see in the pink here, that's where the trench drain used to be, and now we are putting in PVC pipe. And it's going to run all the way out to the blue line there, which is curbing that goes out into the parking lot. So I'm showing you the front of the Mailbox Kiosk, and you can see there's a drain pipe here, and there's a drain pipe here that comes out. It's an outlet, all right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the front of the Mailbox Kiosk to the back with some of the different details. A lot of this is the same as far as the concrete pad, the ramp, the curbing that's in green that goes up the ramp, all of that. A lot of that is the same, but a couple of things have changed. They reduced the size of this concrete pad. They didn't want it to go all the way out to the roadway because there was an issue with the reveal of the concrete pad. We were originally going to have to raise up this side of the concrete pad because this parking lot slopes upward. You can see that right here in this diagram. It's thicker down here, but in order to keep that kiosk level, we would have had to done that, is add a lot more concrete to it. Well, they don't want to do that. Instead, they're going to keep the concrete pad at 4 inches, but move it back from the parking lot a little ways. And they're creating this landscape island in the front where all those dots are. And then we have to put new curbing in there that's poured in place curbing. All right, so the front curb right there is a 6-inch tall curb. Well, I just did some measurements on it. It's actually 12 inches, 6 inches above ground, 6 inches below ground, and it's 32 feet. Okay, you've also got this little piece right here that runs up the hill a little bit. That's 12 inches, and that's 3 feet. Then you've got right here in the front, right on top of the concrete pad, you've got this 4-inch by, I'm thinking it's a 4-inch by 4-inch curb that I think we can pour monolithically with the concrete pad. And that is 32 feet long from here to there. So if you're looking at the side view of the Mailbox Kiosk, here's the front, here's the back. You've got this curb that just got added. Here's the parking lot right here. You've got this 6-inch wide, 6-inch tall curbing. It looks like it's 6 inches tall. It might be 4 inches, but let's go with 6 inches right now. 6-inch wide, 12-inch deep curbing there in the front. And then you've got this curbing up here that's the 4x4 that we could probably pour with the concrete pad. All right, so that's that detail there. I put in an RFI to the customer about these 2 curbs. I told him I was going to bid it that way, but I wanted some confirmation. Next is the 6-inch by 4-inch curbs that go up the ramp. It's 21 feet. You got 10.5 feet here and 10.5 feet there. We need rebar in those. Okay, so that's kind of the same as what it was on the last RFC. All right, this concrete pad now. This concrete pad's a 4-inch depth pad, and it has number 4 rebar in it. 16 inches on center is the pattern, the grid pattern for the concrete pad. And that is 470 square feet. 470 square feet. It includes the ramp here. Okay, so I included all of this all the way around. Okay. So looking at this map where I did measurements, that light blue color is the 470 square feet that I got off of there. Okay. Then you've got, I already talked about the curbings for the 12-inch curb and the 4-inch curb. Concrete pad, the concrete footings. The concrete footings are 2 foot in diameter by 4 foot deep. There's 4 each of those, just like we had in the last RFC. We've got rebar cages from the last bid. There's 4 each of those. And here's your rebar cages that we put in the last RFC. Okay, so it says 4 of your number 4 vertical rebar, and then you got 2 of the horizontal bars at 12-inch on center each way. Okay, so we need 4 of those. Then you've got the grade beam. That's 12 inches wide by 12 inches deep with 3 each number 4 rebar running, I think, horizontally through it. It's 21 feet total. So looking at it from above, you got your grade beam that runs in between these footings. Okay. You see how this grade beam ties into these footings, and it goes in between each column. Here's a side view of the grade beam. As you can see, concrete grade beam per plan. So here's what it looks like with your concrete footings in, your grade beam in between. It only goes in between. That's where I got my 21 feet. And there, marked in the orange, is the grade beam going in between the 4 columns. Around the outside here, you've got some 1.5 inch wash rock that goes around it. There's another view of it. You got the wash rock that's in the gray all the way around. And it's 1 foot wide, and it's 8 inches deep, and there's a total of 50 feet for here, there, and right there on that wash rock. Our original contract was for like $14,000, but in that original bid, we didn't do the grade beam, we didn't do the rebar cages, so we just need to consider that. But the owners are thinking that this revised bid is going to be similar to the cost of the original contract, which I don't think is possible because of, not only having to purchase the trench drains, but we also added in the grade beam, which is extra concrete. We added in the rebar cages, which is extra. And we added this curbing here from the original contract. Since the original contract, the length of this curbing got a little bit longer since the original contract, if I'm not mistaken. So that's it. There's no truncated domes on this, and I know that we had included that in one of the RFCs, so make sure there's no truncated domes. How this looks right now is day 1's been done already, so we need to consider that. And then I think the plan is that we would get this all set up with our forms. We would get the rebar cages made. We would set the rebar cages, all of it's supposed to be all set at one time, I think. The rebar cages get put in, I believe, and we might, I think, pour on that. But then they have to set, the customer has to set the columns and they have to make them right. As soon as those are set, then we can pour the footings, pour the grade beam, pour the concrete pad, pour that 4-inch curb that goes on the top of the concrete pad, and then hopefully we can pour the 6-inch curbing that's down there too, as well as getting all that done. So just reminding you of what we looked at before. I know Jason helped put this bid together last time. He might be the one to do it this time too. But we need to get this back to Josh at IBI. If you have any questions, let me know. These drawings are saved to Google Drive as a final set. And if you have any questions, let me know.